Hey guys, it's Ian from Mid-America Prep. Thanks for tuning in and watching. A couple of weeks ago I made a video about Senate Bill 45 that was recently introduced to the Kansas State Legislature. Now Senate Bill 45 is a bill that is aiming towards the constitutional carry of a concealed firearm. Now the way it is in Kansas currently is that you have to have a license to carry such firearm, or a firearm at all, which is a handgun for a concealed carry license in Kansas. Now currently you must take a course that is given through a Attorney General approved instructor, and you must pay the government a fee or a tax, and then wait up to like 130, 140 days on the long term, which is much shorter now in the state of Kansas. But you have to do with those three simple things, right? Well, with the concealed carry of a firearm, there are also qualifications, within the class. You have to take an 8-hour class, and most of those hours are in classroom, learning the laws and regulations on concealed carrying a firearm, and then a couple of hours of actual field work to do so. Now, I may be wrong, but I am going to try to tell you right. The simple shooting qualifications that most people had they had you bring 50 rounds, okay? 50 rounds of ammunition for your firearm. Now with those 50 rounds, you have to hit a target at 3, 7, and 11 yards. Now how many rounds on target, I do not know, but that is what you have to do. In 2014, a bill was introduced and passed July 1st, 2014, that allowed the open carrying of firearms. Now that's kind of deceiving because the open carrying of firearms before 2014 has always been legal in the state of Kansas, even before 2007 when concealed carry was passed. Just before the bill 2578 was passed and went into effect July 1st, cities, municipalities, private and public businesses could regulate how you carried a firearm, and if you carried that firearm openly in their state or their city or town or whatever it be. I know there's several towns near Kansas City that allowed that. In 2007, when concealed carry went into effect, people were just like, oh, it's going to turn into Wild Wild West in Dodge City, and there's going to be shootouts on every corner. And you know what? There hasn't been shootouts ever. Never ever have there been a shootout in the state of Kansas since that bill went into effect. Now, people said the same thing about open carrying. And then a lot of it was a person who's open carrying is going to deter somebody and they're going to come grab your firearm or this and that. It was, in 2014 when that bill was introduced, the argument was more constitutional versus open carrying. A robber's going to see, a robber comes into a convenience store, sees you with a firearm, they're going to take your gun and shoot somebody with it instead of their own gun, this kind of crap. Well, still hasn't happened, probably won't. It's actually deterred many things from happening. When somebody comes into a convenience store to rob someplace, they don't know if a person's a cop or a civilian carrying that firearm. Now obviously to carry or own a firearm at all in the state of Kansas, you have to be a legal law-abiding citizen to own that firearm, not a felon. Now one of the things also is that a lot of people are upset that people are, this is going to be an open door for criminals, and that the fact that they're going to basically be able to carry a concealed firearm legally without any laws on the books. Well, the thing is now, if they're not willing to go get a concealed carry license now, they're probably still considering carrying that gun concealed. And the fact is, a person is not a criminal until they do a criminal act. That's robbing a place, shooting somebody, killing, whatever it be. They're not a criminal, so God forbid, my best friend next door or whatever it be, he's always been a legal citizen, but he decided to go rob a store. He has guns. If he goes and robs a store, he is now a criminal. He cannot own that firearm because he is probably going to go to jail and become a felon for doing whatever he did. Now, what really cracks me up is that so many people are not willing to take personal responsibility for anything nowadays. They always want the government to make regulations for the person to make it harder for somebody who should be able to do something. Why can't we take personal responsibilities for ourselves? There are 4 simple rules to gun ownership, and those 4 simple rules still apply to carrying concealed firearms or open firearms, or going hunting or whatever it be. That is obviously, you need to treat every firearm as if it's loaded. Never point that firearm at anything you're not willing to destroy. and you always want to, make sure you're targeting what's beyond it, because if you go hit a target, that bullet keep on going and get something else. And the fourth one is really simple: keep your booger hook off the freaking trigger, because until you're ready to shoot, keep your finger off the trigger. Now, let me tell you here, this firearm is loaded. Fingers on the trigger, nothing's going to happen. Now, a lot of times I like to tell people an unloaded gun is just as deadly as a loaded gun, because I got 3 guns right here, and I did tell you this one's loaded, and I think this one's loaded, so I better check this one. They didn't have a magazine in it, right? I mean, the magazine's here. Just let me go. Would you look at that? Look at that. There was a round in the chamber. I thought it was unloaded because the magazine was out. No. An unloaded gun is just as deadly as a loaded gun, because next time I go and put this gun together, I may think, oh crap, is this loaded or not? Or I won't. So always make sure you treat every gun the same, whether you know it's loaded or not, because accidents can happen. You can be sitting there dry firing like crazy, and all of a sudden you put that magazine in there to do some dry firing practice, and guess what? You just shot a round through your foot. So keep all the anti-guns happy. Look, magazine out of the Glock, round out of the Glock, Glock completely clear. Kel-Tec, round on the floor, round up the gun, magazine out, clear. There we go. Still open. So personal responsibility is very, very important. And I'm tired of people not taking responsibility for anything nowadays. Now, the most important thing is a loaded gun in the house is very, very fine. It's perfectly okay to have a loaded firearm in your house, unless you are not responsible or you do not feel safe with it. All the guns in my house are fine, are perfectly loaded. They're all ready to go and hot as could be. Now, everyone in my house knows it, and I don't have kids. Now, it's a different fact if you have children running around the house, and if you do, unload that gun. Make sure your safe is locked. If it's not, things can happen. You see it all the time where little kids get a gun that's in a safe, that's not locked, and they go and end up shooting a person. So unless there are children in your house, do not keep firearms loaded. Always keep your guns loaded, because a unloaded gun is pointless. And that kind of goes back to my number 5 rule, is that an unloaded gun is still just as deadly as a loaded gun. So I keep all my guns loaded. Anyways, personal responsibility is very important. So if Senate Bill 45 were to pass, I urge you to get training. Learn the laws and regulations that are on the books. Learn how to conceal carry. Learn how to open carry if you're going to carry an open gun. Learn. Do your own research and your own training, because why are you wanting the government to implement more rules and regulations on you? They're not going to make you train, because like I said before, how many of those who have a concealed carry license now, how many of them go out and train with their firearm? I'm willing to bet none. Actually, I can't say none. About 97%, leaving 3% go out and train, because I know many who don't. So anyways, I guess I better go danger this bitch up. There's one gun locked and loaded. There's another one. And of course, got to do the danger check on that. There we go. We're good to go. Safety's on that. These don't have safeties, so obviously they're in the holsters anyways. But anyways, once again, this is Ian from Mid-America Prep, reminding you, have a good day, be safe, be responsible. See you later.